Hello all, welcome to my data structure series. Today we are going to talk about abstract data types, ADT. We don't learn ADT to memorize definitions. We learn it to think like a system designer. So what is this ADT? Abstract data types define what operations are allowed, not how these operations are implemented. To understand the actual purpose of abstract data types, these are the few. Number one purpose is that ADT helps you to think before coding. I mean to say, without ADT, you jump directly to the code. Whereas with ADTs, you first decide what operations are needed, what behavior is actually expected. Number two, ADTs separate what and how. This is the core purpose. So ADT will let you know what to do. The data structure will let you know how to do it. It could be the same problem, but there could be multiple implementation. ADT keeps this logic very stable. Number three is flexibility in implementation. For example, you take stack ADTs. The insert operations, delete operations can be done using arrays as well as linked list. I mean to say, if your requirement changes, you can change the implementation, but not the logic. So logic need not be changed again. Number four, used in real-time systems. I mean to say, big systems are built using ADT thinking. For example, a banking system. So the operations comes first. Mobile applications, the features comes first. APIs defined using ADTs. So every software you use today is designed using ADT concepts. Number five is ADTs improve problem solving skills. When problem solving is done, instead of thinking which code to write, you should think which operations are needed. So this makes problems easier to break down. Like for example, when you use a mobile phone, you don't care about the circuits. You care about calling, messaging, taking photos, etc. So that's ADT thinking. Focus on usage. Ignore internal complexity. So this ADT helps us design very clean, flexible, and scalable systems by focusing on what to do before how to do. If still isn't clear, let's take one real-time example. This is my example of a mobile phone. We use mobile phones to make calls, take photos, send messages, save contacts, etc. But still, though I don't know how the internal circuits work, I'm able to still use it very perfectly. So this is what ADT means. ADT defines what operations are allowed and not how they are implemented. For example, make call, send message, take photo, save contact, change settings, check battery are all operations. There could be different phones, an Android phone, iPhone, etc. So the implementation is different, but the operations remain the same. Done? So that's the power of ADT. Same behavior, but different implementation. If still this is not clear, let me go for another real-time example, which is a restaurant order system. So this restaurant order system is a system where the customers place orders and the orders are assumed that they are processed one by one. If you are the first customer, you are served first. It's assumed like that. First order placed, served first. It's like a queue. Again, we define only operations here. Add order, serve order, get next order, is empty, is full. Okay, so these are the only operations that could be defined. Fine. Right, so I am bothered only with my operations, not exactly how these are implemented. ADT is like a contract, you can think. It tells what to do and the data structure tells how to do it. In other words, if you understand ADT properly, you won't just write code. You will start designing proper systems. So that is the real power of ADTs.